Hey there, UFC bettor. It's Captain Castiron, the world's leading UFC fight prediction expert. Back once again to help you make money betting on the UFC. Now let's review my top 5 picks for UFC Fight Night 179, Moraes vs. Sandhagen. Held on Saturday, October 10th, 2020 at Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, UFN 179 featured a total of 13 fights, with the main event of Marlon Moraes vs. Corey Sandhagen. I risked 100 units on this event and lost 21.89. Pick number 1 was in the heavyweight division as Tom Aspinall took on Alan Baudot. Tom Aspinall was minus 580, with the comeback on the underdog Alan Baudot at plus 395. I picked the favorite, Tom Aspinall, to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 3.11. Tom Aspinall is a 28-year-old Orthodox fighter hailing from England. He is huge at 6'5", but quite trim at 256 pounds. He has a 78-inch reach, which he uses to great effect. He has an 8-2 overall record with a mark of 1-0 in the UFC. He is an accomplished boxer and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who trains with Tyson Fury and UFC veteran Darren Till. He is a very impressive heavyweight, seeming to possess all the skills needed to make a run at the belt. He moves very well, controls the distance, has great natural power, and throws in combination. In his first fight in the UFC, he threw a sweet short left jab to right hand combo that slept Jake Collier. One concern is that he may try to slug it out when he should instead use his BJJ and go for the takedown. Alan, the Black Samurai Baudot, is 33 years old and fights out of France from a right-handed stance. He is 6'3", 243 pounds, and has a reach of 79 inches. He is making his UFC debut with an impressive record of 8-1. Baudot last fought in April of 2019, so he has been inactive for a year and a half. He has fought a lot at 205 pounds, which does not bode well for him in this particular matchup. Most of his fights were on the Japanese regional scene, where he was much bigger than his opponents. He was KO'd versus Dalcha Lungiambula in his first fight outside of Japan or Korea. My expectation of the fight was that Aspinall would shoot immediately and make it a point to show his ground skills to the world. As it turned out, he did fight on the feet for just a bit before landing a takedown. Moving quickly to mount, he rained down punishment on Baudot until the ref stopped the fight. Tom Aspinall's victory yielded me a profit of 3.11 units. Number 2 was in the featherweight division, on a matchup of Youssef Zalal against Ilia Topuria. The line on the favorite, Youssef Zalal, was minus 160, with the comeback on the underdog Ilia Topuria at plus 127. I picked the favorite, Youssef Zalal, to win this fight, risking 18 units to win 11.25. Youssef, the Moroccan Devil, is a 24-year-old switch stance fighter hailing from, you guessed it, Morocco. 5'10", with a 72-inch reach, he has excellent size for the featherweight division. With an overall record of 10-2 and a glitzy record of 3-0 in the UFC in 2020, Zalal had several advantages going into this fight. He had a 3-0 edge in UFC experience, as well as a considerable home field advantage fighting in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates. Zalal is a smooth striker with excellent defensive footwork and was very impressive in his first 3 UFC fights, cruising to unanimous decisions in all 3 contests while dropping only a single round in the process. He likes to go for the takedown, with an average of 3 per fight in the UFC. However, he does have a noticeable tendency to, for lack of a better term, goof around. He will initiate some grappling exchanges that allow him to be put into bad positions that he could avoid if he chose to. His opponent, Ilia Topuria, is also just 24 years old and took this fight on 7 days short notice. Fighting out of Spain by way of the country of Georgia, the righty Topuria sports a peachy record of 8 wins with 0 losses. He is 5'7", with a 69-inch reach and is a legitimate grappling specialist. With a 100% finishing rate and 7 of 8 victories by submission, Topuria has an impressive mix of triangle, rear naked, and front headlock series choke victories. He is quick and very confident, with impressive striking and striking defense. This pick was all about 2 factors that I weigh quite heavily in the UFC: octagon experience and short notice. Though I did think that Zalal was the decidedly better fighter, I was counting on Topuria having maybe a round of cardio at best. After Zalal weathered the storm in the initial stanza by stuffing enough of the takedowns to remain safe, I expected Topuria to slow down and get picked apart by the silky Moroccan. However, I was quite wrong, as Topuria sent a frantic grappling pace from the opening bell, notching 5 takedowns, including 3 in the final round. Zalal could never gain the advantage in this fight and was on his heels the entire time, despite inexplicably winning the 3rd round in the eyes of all 3 judges. Yusuf Zalal's loss set me back 18 ducats. Number 3 was an underdog pick in the bantamweight division, as Corey Sandhagen clashed with Marlon Moraes. The favorite, Corey Sandhagen, checked in at minus 159, while the underdog Marlon Moraes countered at plus 127. I predicted this fight to be decided in favor of the dog Marlon Moraes, risking 18 units to win 22.86. Corey the Sandman Sandhagen is a switch stance fighter out of Aurora, Colorado. He is 28 years old and is 5'11" with a 70-inch reach. He has a 12-2 record overall and has won 5 of 6 contests in the Big Show. A very rangy bantamweight, Sandhagen lands an incredible 6.88 strikes per minute, while absorbing 3 whole strikes less than that. With hypnotic footwork and movement, and a refined sense of fighting long, Sandhagen is a very technical fighter and a particularly fun one to watch. Magic Marlon Moraes is a 32-year-old native of Brazil and fights from an orthodox stance. At 5 foot 6 inches tall with a 67-inch reach, Moraes is an elite fighter with a record of 23-5 coming into this fight. With 10 wins by KO and 6 by submission, Moraes is a very well-rounded fighter, one who can do it all. Joining the UFC on a 13-fight winning streak, Magic was the longtime World Series of Fighting champion, with 5 defenses of the bantamweight strap to his credit. After losing a split decision in his promotional debut to veteran Rafael Assunção, Moraes went on to win 4 consecutive UFC fights, 3 of them by finish. This streak earned him a shot at the vacant bantamweight championship versus Triple C Henry Cejudo. While he dominated round 1 with his powerful kicking game and almost stopped the Olympian, he did slow down and was eventually stopped in round 3. As Sandhagen had just suffered his first UFC defeat in a first-round drubbing by Aljamain Sterling, I thought he would not be fully recovered and would be tentative. Despite his height and reach disadvantage, I expected Marlon Moraes to punish the skinny legs of Sandhagen as he darted in and out. Eventually, the Sandman would slow down and Moraes would catch him with a punch or a knee. The fight did not play out that way at all, as Sandhagen showed no ill effects from his loss the previous fight. He was in peak form and spinning wheel kick KO'd Moraes in round number 2. Siding with the loser in this contest raided the treasury to the tune of 18 units. Pick number 4 was another underdog, this time in the heavyweight division, where Ben Rothwell took on Marcin Tybura. The line on the favorite Ben Rothwell was minus 165, while the underdog Marcin Tybura came back at plus 131. The dog Marcin Tybura was my choice to be victorious in this fight, so I risked 18 units on him to win 23.58. Big Ben Rothwell is an orthodox fighter and a legitimate OG of MMA. At 39 years old, he has fought 14 times in the UFC, after a 36-fight career outside the octagon. 6 foot 4 inches tall with a 78-inch reach, the Kenosha, Wisconsin native has seen and done it all. Despite his massive size and lumbering appearance, Rothwell is both skilled and crafty and has surprisingly fast hands. He has submitted Josh Barnett and only lost to champions of the UFC, World Series of Fighting, K1, and the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Mundials since 2005. With unorthodox submissions and a maniacal cackle, Ben Rothwell is quite the character. Marcin Tybura hails from Poland and is 4 years younger than his opponent. Fighting out of the orthodox stance, the man they call Tiber is 6 foot 3 inches tall and has a 78-inch reach while tipping the scales at 263 pounds. His octagon tenure has been up and down, as he lost a decision in his UFC debut and then won 3 in a row. He then dropped 4 out of 5 bouts, being knocked out 3 times. He rallied and now finds himself the winner of 2 in a row coming into this fight. Tybura is skilled in certain areas of MMA and can look quite good at points. Unfortunately, his game is somewhat disconnected and he frequently demonstrates a low fight IQ. Defensively irresponsible, has in the past given up when he faced adversity. For this fight, I thought that it would be evident that Father Time had caught up with Ben Rothwell and he would be slower than ever of foot. Tybura is quick and on a good day could avoid the hands of Rothwell and stick and move from the outside. In fact, implement this game plan and outstruck Ben Rothwell in all 3 rounds. Building momentum as the fight went on, Tybura capped off his performance with a takedown and a long stretch of ground and pound in round number 3 to seal the victory. I picked the winner correctly in this fight and Marcin Tybura added 23.58 units to my ledger.